And in GX, the top finishing non-Porsche at the Rolex 24 was the number 70 Mazda Skyactiv Diesel, which encountered mechanical problems in place for...
The GX class was introduced to the Rolex Sports Car Series in 2013 to give manufacturers an opportunity to showcase new technology, and Mazda jumped on board. They wanted to showcase their Skyactiv Diesel technology. Now, obviously, Daytona did not go the way that Mazda wanted it to, but remember, when the rotary came into road racing, it was not successful in the beginning, and it has had quite the storied past in road racing. We expect the same thing out of this Skyactiv Diesel technology. In fact, the part that failed on all three entries for Mazda at the Rolex 24 was not a Mazda part at all, but an aftermarket racing part. So they've got high hopes and great expectations for the remainder of the season. Porsche won the Rolex 24 at Daytona in the GX category, and there is a Porsche on pole here in GX at Austin. It's the 38 from BGB Racing. Now, Mazda not the only ones with problems at Daytona. Other teams had it as well, but some teams had a great finish, like in GT, the 69 from AIM FXDD, their Ferrari, but not going so well.
I'm going to hopefully have time here to push the car back to the front. We've got a very fast race car. They said just put your head.
He's going to take that position away from Jordan Taylor. That is the great thing about this race.
Well, nobody's suggesting that they're done.
So they're moves it to the inside, and it looks like an easy pass.
Diapers, because Calvin had his daughter back in November. What else? Racetrack and practice was one thing. This race is turning out.
You lose sight of the
Cuts checking each other.
And there's the 57.
Look at that. I was talking about. I knew they were hitting, just barely bouncing off each other right there. Anyway, they took a look at the Mecca filter, which is a micro filter for oil, and they found the
00 in the hands of whose company built these cars, Sylvain Tremblay with Chris Neville.
Yeah, Sylvain Tremblay's had his hand.
Comfy in the car today because it's cold outside, but usually it's not comfy in these cars.
Well, Bob, we talked to Sylvain Tremblay earlier. We thought it was a turbo problem with that Mazda, but that car back out on the racetrack now. The 70 car just left pit lane, just talked to Sil, and he said it was a fuel line. Those fuel lines under a lot of pressure, and one of the fittings came loose, so they lost all their fuel pressure. That's why they were in pit lane, but they got the car fixed. So now this really turns into kind of a testing session for them, which they need a lot of testing with that car still.
They've been having some issues with fuel lines, with fittings on fuel lines. It's not an easy thing. That thing's pushing out 30,000 PSI of fuel line pressure. If you get a leak, it is a very big leak, and it's catastrophic usually. So they've got a problem there. They know the problem. They're going to work on it. Like I said, it's a work in progress. These guys are smart guys. They'll get it fixed.
So long in the car, working the sequential shifter, pushing it forward to go up a gear, pulling to go down a gear.
Negri is struggling a little bit. This has to be his foot injury.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Close to their pit stop where they'll see that first driver change of the day.
Really seemed to have some pretty good pace in quality.
But second stint we made a little change.
Like tonight, he said it might be a little.
For the younger brother.
The older brother is only 23, by the way, Ricky,
yeah,
and
right.
Jordan's 21.
That's
so
what I
youngsters.
Here is Calvin Fish golf.
Member for Alex Gurney currently running. Pruitt looks to the inside of Westbrook. Utley continues to lead for Starworks, running the gamble. Have they got enough fuel on board? Gurney's in good shape for fuel. The 6-car Pizzoni is so impressive here today. Can they get a pole? And that's what the 01 team are best at. They are just so perfectly executed when they have drama.